Was it a success? What are they doing? What happens now? And there's some of the things that were said on that march. Because some of the things that were said on that march, I believe people should be arrested for saying, definitely. And to help me with this show today, this conversation that we're going to have, inshallah, I have my friend, long-term friend, and I'm going to let him introduce what he does, but he's a very active man in the community, mashallah. I always say that I'm a great believer that we can't keep ourselves in echo chambers. We can't keep having Muslim guests talk about Muslim things from one viewpoint and perspective constantly. We need guests from all walks of the community with different flavors and different ideas and different outlooks and different points of view, because maybe we can learn something, inshallah. Okay, so what we got now, I'm going to introduce my friend Glenn, and he's going to give a little background to himself, who he is, where he works, what he does, and then we're going to jump straight in, inshallah. Okay, Glenn, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, Dal, good one. Thanks for the invite, mate. Thanks for
you're welcome, man. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, I'm Glenn Jenkins. I'm a community organizer in community service, I'd call it. So do community work pretty much all my life. Yeah,
all your life.
Yeah, pretty much.
What would you be best known for, Glenn?
Exodus. Yeah, dances back in the day. Rocking with a squatters.
Now, that's only the old listeners that will remember this. No, not a chance.
Look it up, Wes. You'll like it.
It was one of the biggest dance rave movements.
In 8 years in Luton, we would occupy disused properties, like warehouses, factories, farms, quarries, waste all around us. And a whole bag of us in Luton who were socially excluded, financially excluded from the being able to go out even.
So that was your thing. You took up the rave.
Yeah. We started. We put it on one day. It was 150 people, and 6 months later, it was 10,000 people. So it kind of grew exponentially.
So you upscaled it quite a bit, didn't you?
Yeah. So we became quite a bit infamous, popular. Whatever.
So that was when? That was
92 to 2000, and since then I've been working in doing community service again in Marsh Farm. So I was part of the team that drew up the Marsh Farm Community Development Trust and the regeneration of Marsh Farm.
Right.
What I'd say from the bottom up, So our job is to make sure it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
When it says it's going to benefit the grassroots.
Is it doing what it says on the tin?
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right. A bit of everything.
A bit of everything. Yeah. Some brilliant, some ugly. Yeah. Some of it like New Deal for consultants instead of New Deal for community, we would call it.
Right.
Because soon as any size of money hits the ground for regeneration, an army of people come in with wings on
to tell you how to spend it.
Yeah, or to spend it themselves.
Okay. So you're based now in Marsh House, aren't you?
Marsh House, yeah, which is
the community centre. What do you call it?
It's community centre. It's a community. We call it a community action hub.
Right.
We call it. Yeah. So it's about community organising, but does that through. I mean, we have a range of things there from, multicultural activities across the board. We've had everything from Bangladeshi christening through to
a Bangladeshi christening.
Sorry, not a christening.
Couldn't say it, did that? It's possible.
No, what do you call it? The event before a wedding.
Oh, nikah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had that, and through to every Friday we have rum punch, reggae events there. Okay. We have weddings, we have funerals, we have you know what I mean.
So how would you summarize your? Because I think that me and you, Glenn, we're on the same page. Oh, we got a call. We got a call already. I didn't even give out the number. What mic are we on? The phone? Okay, we'll just take this. Assalamu alaikum. Have we got anyone on the phone?
Yes, Doward.
Yes.
How are you guys?
I got the volume up a bit high then, bro. I didn't realize your voice would be so loud. I'm good, bro. Who's this? Who are we talking to?
My name is Ali, and I'm from London.
Ali from London. How you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, good. I was working during the march, so it happened quite close to me in central London. Right. So I saw a lot of the protesters.
Okay.
I got to talk to a few of them.
Okay, so you actually spoke to some of the protesters.
Yeah. Basically, where I work, there's a pub nearby, and we do sort of like security there. We look after the place and stuff because it's adjoined to our. I'm not going to mention what our workplace is.
Right.
But so what they used to do is they came and because we work as a team and stuff, so we're patrolling and stuff, and we got to talk to a few of them. They came in with their flags and stuff. So I did actually get to talk to a few of them.
What was so what was the vibe when you spoke to them? Were they hostile towards you, or were they out for a good day out, or what were they thinking? What were they all saying to you? Were they Were they hospitable?
I think some of them were there for different reasons. Some of them were there because the mates went and they went. Some of them were obviously there for political reasons. I think other people had genuine concerns about the state of the country and
with regarding to immigration.
With regards to immigration, and by the way, I haven't formed my opinion on the marches on Tommy Robinson and the EDL because I spoke to the protesters. I've been researching it over the past few years, so I've come to my own conclusions without speaking to them, and my conclusions are a lot of them aren't actually racist. No,
I agree with that. Yeah, a lot of them are not racist. We just label them as racist lazily.
Lazy label. I mean, the media label them as far right and racist. They really aren't. Some of the English people are the most loving, selfless people I've ever met. I'm not even joking. Do you know what I mean? They really are very, very, very nice.
Yeah, I think that applies to a lot of English people. But I also feel that the vibe is being, the hand is being turned. You know, like people are trying to gaslight them for.
I mean, there's definitely more powerful forces basically pulling the strings, like when you see like puppet show. There's more powerful with a lot of money and stuff. International, I'm not going to mention names, but we know there's certain movements that are funding certain people to be a certain way, to speak about certain things. Do you know what I mean?
What was your overall take on it then, bro? What was the takeaway for you when you spoke to these protesters or demonstrators, whatever they were? Would you think that they was genuinely concerned or just out for a day out? What was it?
No. I think a lot of them were genuinely concerned because number one, not just because of illegal immigration. I think they feel neglected by the government, by the Labour left-wing government,
right?
Who they feel that they haven't been there for them.
Right.
Obviously, mass immigration coming in, that's one thing. And it's not just even mass immigration. I think they're somewhat bitter towards the Muslim community.
Somewhat.
Well.
Some of them are very bitter towards it, but then again, they're being that's what they're being led to do, isn't it? Okay, so what's your take on it then, bro? What do you feel about it?
I feel that they've got concerns. It's just that it's very, very difficult because that look, a lot of them aren't religious. They're nice people, but they're not religious. And
the protesters, do they have to be religious? Do you think to have a concern? Do you think it's a prerequisite?
No, it's not that. I think it's basically we're in certain towns. So I'm from East London, you're from Luton, and a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are agnostic or whatever. They're not religious. So when they see a religious change in a society where they've known it to be an English culture, so they feel that
it's changing a bit too quick for them.
Yeah, it's changing a bit too quickly. We don't know how to deal with it. It's somewhat for if you want Anglicans or Catholics or whatever, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been much of a problem. But because they see as alien and foreign, I'm not saying it's a racist.
Do you understand that viewpoint? Do you sympathise with it somewhat?
I understand. I'm Muslim myself, so.
A name like Ali, bro, I guess that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But it's not that. It's just I try to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah, that's a good perspective to take.
Put myself in their shoes. But if we're going to talk about theology is if you look at let's go back to the Quranic stories, right? So for instance, let's go back to the time of Jesus, peace be upon him. So Jesus was given a message. Now he was his disciples went and spread that message to the world. One of the first places they went to is Rome, right? And Rome obviously was a pagan Roman culture, right? And they tried to oppress Christians and stuff. And Christians their job was to maybe give the message. Do you know what I mean? Now the Romans didn't like that. What was the typical response? This is Rome. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
True.
Right? So I think we have to go a bit deeper. It's because we have to establish if a theology is true or not, right? Now, if you can establish if
what theology are you trying to establish, bro? Because that's going to be a whole show on its own. What is the theology of what, Islam, or the theology of everything else?
No. What I'm saying is, what I mean by that is, not established as in a government reform or anything. We can have a discussion about different theologies and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you understand from a theological perspective that God exists and He sent messengers and stuff, right? Now those messengers, through different time periods.
What you're going into now is going to be a whole show by itself. You know what I mean?
Enough. All right.
Yeah. So that way.
I'm trying to explain some psychology behind everything. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have the answers to everything, to be honest.
No.
You know what I mean?
But when you go into psychology, it kind of opens up a whole different conversations. You know what I'm saying? Fair enough. But so when you said are those guys genuine or not? And yeah, I think some of them are. They're certainly not racist. Well, I think there are a lot of racists in there. I think all the racists support it, but not everyone that supports it is racist. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think that's more like.
Yeah. So when you said yes, we need more dialogue and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how you can solve the religious issue, the religious divide. Do you see? Unless you talk about theology, which I'm not going to go into now. Yeah. But that's my honest take on it.
Okay, so you think that there's no way of dealing with this unless you tackle it from we tackle it alongside the religion. It affects non-Muslims too, though, bro. You know, and this is the whole thing. This is why we got a non-Muslim guest in, because we don't live in a Muslim bubble, we don't live in a Muslim echo chamber. What affects us ultimately affects the society at large and the community at large. And there's non-Muslims out there that are just as concerned and angry about this as anybody else. You know, right now we're talking about a noisy march that happened on this weekend, but it doesn't mean that, you know, what they say. It was nowhere near 3 million people that attended that. It was more like 150,000. But anyway, I'll go into this, why they make such high figures a bit later on. But your take on it is, bro, is that we can't ignore the religious side of it, or because that's the real problem. The real problem is twofolded here. I think it's religious and it's ethnic, and the two of them go hand in hand for these people.
No, I don't think it's ethnic. Honestly,
it's definitely ethnic, bro. Honestly, it's definitely ethnic.
Well, why is it ethnic? I disagree with you on that one. Why is it ethnic?
It's definitely ethnic because once they have a religious agenda, okay, to be anti-Muslim for the most part. That ties in nicely and neatly with immigration. They can box that all into one little package and stir it up, okay? So the anti-immigration and anti-Muslim, for them, it can be put into one big stewing pot, okay? Now, when you have non-Muslim ethnic groups like Black, Sikhs, Hindus, I don't know, there's lots of different other ones that I can't go through all of them right now. Why they are agreeing with their narrative, they will be tolerated, not accepted. Once they start going against it, you watch how quick they'll start using their race. There'll be a black this, there'll be a brown that, they'll start bringing their race into the mix. I know they will, because I'm white. I know how they think. Okay, I know how some of these people think.
I'm not sure about that. I've got my own reasons, right? We can have a discussion about it. It's okay to disagree. Yeah, I get your point. I disagree with the main aspect of what you're saying.
And that's why we have radio shows and things, so we can disagree and agree to disagree. Bro, I'm going to move on, inshallah, but jazakallah khair for your call. I do appreciate it. I'm going to have a bit to get through the show anyway. So, but please, bro, call again for me. So whereabouts in East Aya?
I'm near Shadwell.
Near Shadwell. So you're right over there. You're right. You're out of Tower Hamlets, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Bruv, you take it easy in Shadwell, inshallah, bruv, and hopefully you'll call again, yeah?
Sorry, just to say hello to your non-Muslim guest as well. Sorry,
his name's Glenn.
Yes, brother. So, hello,
yeah, Glenn. Hi, Glenn.
Nice one, bro.
To meet you, and hope you have a good show.
Thank you.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, bruv. Assalamu alaikum. Right, okay. So, all right then, Glenn. So, how would you say now, because I think that I was just about to say, before we got the call, alhamdulillah, I think me and you have the right intentions, but I think that we may have different ways of implementing it, because that's why I wanted you on the show. How would you briefly describe your political viewpoints or your theological viewpoints? I don't expect you to go in and write me a novel, but would you say you are left wing? Would you say you are socialist? What would you say you are?
I find it hard to
spiritualist. I don't
know. I believe in God. I believe in one love would be the best all encompassing way of the way I see the world.
Right.
You know, so in other words, the whole of humanity are one family.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So that would colour how I see. To me, a refugee, for example, is a brother or a sister in trouble, needs some support.
But how do we siphon out the ones that are genuinely in need and support to the ones that are basically here to take some advantage of the system?
No, well, I mean, in all situations, whatever it is, you may well have people, a minority, who are here to take advantage of whatever it be. But my point is that what defines me in terms of my worldview is one love, a human family. So so for me, I wouldn't let the actions of a few who might be taking the Michael right then make me feel, well, then the majority who aren't taking the Michael need to be bracketed like that. And I think that's what's happening here. I think there's a deliberate demonization, if you like, particularly of Muslims, but refugees and migrants generally, but particularly of Muslims.
It's important to understand that not all refugees or migrants are Muslim.
No, exactly. No, I mean, there's loads of people who are migrants who aren't Muslim.
Yeah, of course,
you know, but obviously there's an emphasis on Muslims with the march at the weekend and all of that. Me personally, I see that all that as a kind of, it's all tied into the war on terror and all of that sort of thing. You know, back in the day in World War II, when Mussolini joined Hitler, right?
Mussolini being the Italian president,
the Italian dictator, right, fascist dictator. As soon as he joined forces with Hitler, people in Bedford, the Italians and that, were rounded up. You know, they were called aliens, right, and rounded up because they were all of a sudden seen as going to collaborate with the Italians, with the war effort. And it's the same kind of thing happening here now, but you can't round up all the Iraqis and Iranians, and there's too many. So demonization, I think, is a big part.
Demonizing the Muslim community, to turn everyone against them.
Well, to keep them in their box, for one, in terms of war, the prevent strategy, prevent people speaking is a big part of its agenda. People don't feel comfortable to speak out about how they feel about issues. In case they're well, you're branded as not informed. If you speak publicly and you say, whatever certain things people want to say, their next thing they're getting arrested for hate crimes or for and that's the thing about Tommy and that.
So why do you think Tommy? Because
they're claiming the free speech thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
But what they want is the ability. I mean, there's a big non-thin line between freedom to speak and freedom or not freedom to incite hatred and violence against another person. There's a law against that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Right. So why people pretend that there's this fuzzy line, because it isn't fuzzy at all. I mean, if you say burn them in the hotels, that's incitement to violence.
That is incitement to violence, right? Obviously, we don't agree with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's incitement to violence. Yeah. And what the right wing do is say, "Oh, look, freedom of speech being taken away. She's been locked up. Lucy, she'd been locked up for that was in the midst of a terrifying experience
and riots and everything else.
Yeah.
So why do you think, Glenn? Like I say, I mean, I've got my view on this character, and I've spoke about him a few times now. It bores me to death to talk about him, but he can't be ignored. Why do you think so many white people are taken in by what he says? What do you think he's saying to them?
When you say so many,
well, there's a lot of people that I know that agree with him to different levels. Some agree with everything he says and the cheerleading, and some are just like, well, he's got a point on this, he's got a point on that.
Most people are. It's easy to have a point on things, right? Tommy's got a point on things, people say, and it's easy to have a point on it. Look, I mean, let me put it in how I see it in perspective. This country, this town, let's take this town, Luton. Over the past 40-50 years, right? I've lived here all my life, and my dad used to go to work in Whitbread in Luton. And his one wage was enough to have a nice council house, car, holiday,
takeaway once a week.
Exactly.
Night out at the bingo.
You could have a family.
You could have a life
on one wage.
Yes, I agree.
And by the way, we used to make things in this town. We used to make cars. We used to make ball bearings. We used to make hats. We used to make George Kent, Skefco. All of these places, Vauxhall, and now they're all gone. And instead of making things, we're packing things that have been made thousands of miles away, right? So you're packing things like Amazon, where you're parceling out things and all, and the wages are half what they used to be. Now, housing prices used to be about 10-20% of your weekly wage. Now it's 50-60% for some people. So 2 minimum wages don't even cover the rent, Doward.
No.
My point is that in all of that decline, people are angry.
Yes, they are.
Rightly angry.
They are angry.
But what happens is, always throughout history, the far right forces, right, are generated and funded. Your previous speaker guest talked about outside forces, trying to foment this trouble. And what happens is far right groups are mobilized, but in all occasions I'm aware of throughout the history of this country. Oswald Mosley back in the day, they mobilized forces to point the finger at the neighbor rather than at the billionaires and the corporations and all of that. So it's a weapon of mass distraction as far as I can see. And with that goes all the demonization. Your problems are because of the Muslims, your problems are because of refugees, rather than the banksters, the corporate gangsters, all of these people who are really responsible. And they fund these people to organize these events. You know, Tommy Robinson's funded by big Zionists. Big Zionists.
Elon Musk is Elon Musk is a helper of his as well.
Well, this is what I'm saying. You know, and he's a white South African. I think he's still angry about apartheid getting closed down.
I don't know what he's angry about. He's the richest man in the world. If you're angry at the richest man in the world,
no, but some people are like, white supremacy is a thing. You know, the way for me, right. If you believe that we, the white West, need to come over and educate and democratize and teach people, you know, there's a whole kind of belief structure in there that says that we're superior. We're the clever ones. We're democracy. We're freedom.
It's our burden to civilize the world.
Exactly. And the reality of that is really it's about oil. It's about colonization. It's about domination of resources. It's nothing to do with the noble things like it used to be civilizing the savages. Now it's we're bringing democracy to the Middle East. You know, when you know what democracy means, man, it means the corporations have got free run, and it means you either open up your resources or we're gonna blow you to pieces.
Or we make you.
We'll
take them anyway.
So in all of that climate, where you've got the working class, brown, white, yellow, all of us, been absolutely decimated. So there's anger and fear for the future and no security. Then people get angry. What happens with that anger is crucial. And this is where the billionaires step in and go, well, let's fund these movements who will point the finger at their neighbor. They're generally their poorer neighbor as well. Scroungers. If it's not Muslims, it's benefit scroungers. If you know what I mean? Anywhere but the billionaires. And that's an interesting thing about Tommy. I've never heard him talk about them. I've never heard him talk.
That's a reason for that, Glenn.
Well, exactly. You know, that's the point I'm making.
They're paying him.
That's the point I'm making. You know, if Tommy's concerned about the working class and the exclusion,
the welfare of the people of the country,
exactly. Then you would expect that there'd be other issues. I mean, for example, you know, the grooming gangs issue. Tommy's been hot on that for a few years. I haven't heard a word about the grooming gangs in the establishment, Mandelson and all these lot. I haven't heard Tommy out there. I haven't heard Liam Tufts out there.
Hyper focused on particularly Pakistani grooming gang because he can tie it into the religion and everything else. But we know that although this wrong, all of it is wrong.
Evil. It's evil.
All of it is evil. They are a minority of the people that do that sort of crime.
Well, if you were
all of them,
if you were genuinely concerned by that evil, which I am and you are,
100%,
right, then I would not focus my energy all on one group. In fact, if I was going to focus my energy on one group, it'd be the establishment, right? Because look, you've got Jeffrey Epstein, you've got Peter Mandelson, you've got all of these people. I mean, I could name dozens actually of people within the hierarchy of this government and state where paedophilia has been an uncomfortably ever-present arrangement, and lots of people believe the reason for that is because blackmail and seduction and all of these things, what they call compromat, trapping people. You know, so you get pictures of them doing X and Y and Z. This is what they think Epstein was doing. You get pictures of them and then you use that
as leverage against
they're your slave now, because you can say, look, you can either continue with your lovely comfortable life or you can go and do bird in prison as a nonce. And no one wants to do that.
Nobody wants to do that. No one wants to go from living a high life to living on the protection wing.
So a lot of people believe, and I'm always open to this, that these establishment grooming gangs are the ones we all need to be focusing on.
We've got 10 seconds left, Glenn, before the break, and we're definitely coming back to this. People, I told you this was going to be a good show. That's why I had him on. Okay, I'll see you straight after the show, the break, inshallah.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM. Assalamu alaikum. This is Fawad Alam. Keep listening Inspire FM 105.1. Thank you.
Oh, I'm really struggling to find a rishta for my son. It's so difficult.
Have you looked into Rishta Networking? It's a halal atmosphere where you can find the right spouse for your child. Alhamdulillah, I found a rishta for my daughter through one of their events.
Wow, alhamdulillah. How does it work exactly?
You have brief timed introductions, about 5 minutes long, where you get to talk to different candidates and see if they are a perfect match.
Sounds great. How can I book?
You'll have to be quick, sis. Spaces are limited and the next event's on the 26th of September at Crescent Hall. You can book your spot at rishta-networking.co.uk.
This is exactly what we need. In the community, finding a rishta has become such a struggle. I'll book my spot straight away.
The perfect venue for your perfect day has to be the Barn Tea Green at Stony Lane, where natural beauty blends with rustic charm. With the stunning barn conversion, breathtaking garden room, private bridal suite, and landscape gardens set within the picturesque Hertfordshire countryside, this unique and charming venue is ideal for intimate nikahs, mendis, weddings, other celebrations, or business events for up to 200 guests with ample parking. For details, call 01582 800 222. Visit thebarnteagreen.co.uk or check out our Instagram at thebarnteagreen.
Enjoy quality and tasty 100% authentic halal Chinese and Thai food from Gao Express. Brought to you by the team behind Top's Pizza in Luton. Choose from all your delicious Chinese and Thai favourites. Then order for delivery or collection from Gao Express in Wellington Street, Luton, Marketplace, Stevenage, and now also on Nightingale Road in Hitchin. Open daily midday till late. Find the number or order online at Gao, that's GAO, express.co.uk, or like Gao Express on Facebook.
Had an accident, a bump, trip or fall? Then you need Claims Specialists, your first choice for accident claims. The Specialist Claims Company on Dunstable Road in Luton. With excellent access to expert solicitors and on a no-win, no-fee basis, Claims Specialists use their 30 years experience to help get you the best compensation possible. For injuries at work, taxi, PCO and private hire incidents, road accidents and vehicle damage, medical negligence, plus rented housing disrepair. In short, when you need to make any claim, click on claimspecialists.co.uk or call 01582 733 222.
For specialist immigration services, the people to talk to settle a family member in the UK, M&K Solicitors. For all your legal solutions for family, personal injury, clinical negligence, civil and property law, M&K Solicitors. Internationally recognised, M&K Solicitors for local legal services you can rely on. Call 01582 732 503 or click on mnksolicitors.com. Your first consultation is free.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम किरण है। कोट कश्मीर ऑर्फन्स रिलीफ ट्रस्ट मेरा एक खूबसूरत घर है जहां मेरे साथ सैकड़ों यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों की तालीम व तरबियत और पुरसुकून माहौल में परवरिश हो रही है और ये सब कुछ आपके तावन से मुमकिन है। अल्लाह से दुआ है कि अल्लाह करीम आपको सदा सलामत रखे और उम्मीद है कि आप इसी तरह अपना प्यार, मोहब्बत और तावन जारी रखेंगे। कोट UK ऑफिस 0300123774 court.org.uk।
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. So you're back on Speaker's Corner with myself, Isa, aka Doward. You can text in. We're not taking calls for the rest of the show because we've got quite a lot to get through. But if anyone wants to send a text message, it's 07779 481822. And so we'll take some text messages, inshallah. We've got a few here talking about have the people in the protest realize that they are a product of military-age men coming on boats from Anglo-Saxons, Frankists and Vikings and stuff like that in the past. I think that's just a dig at this is not the first time it's happened for sure. Imagine Mandelson on the wing. He'll be fluffing and rounding up the laundry. I don't know what that means, but you can let you make a mind up. Another one here says mosques and local Muslim communities should do a protest by flying flags in an act of reclaiming it as representation of our assimilation without religious compromise. They will claim we will. They claim we do lying, public lying. Okay, I don't think hanging more flags will help, but if you want to hang another flag, hang another flag. Okay, Glenn, let's crack on where we left off. So we were talking about, and I've been saying this all along, that people have reasons to be angry. There's good cause to be angry in the community.
Very good cause.
Very good causes, but they are angry at the wrong people. And our job is to get over the emotional and deal with the factual. Okay, let's get over the gaslighting. Let's get over the gaslighting. Let's get over the emotional, and let's get into the factual and what, because truth and facts matter. What they should do in this day and age. So what the likes of Tommy does is he takes a little bit of truth, and then the original little bit of truth, and then what he does is then he elaborates around that with false stats, gaslighting, deflective arguments, and everything else, just to wind up the people and get them angry and everything else. And that's what he does. He hooks them emotionally after he's given them a little fact in the beginning. So who should they be angry with then, Glenn? I mean, if they're angry at the wrong people, who are the right people? Who are we going to go for?
That's a good question. I mean, before I answer that, I should say that, like, the thing is with Tommy as well as like taking information or misinformation and peddling it, he's got an army of people who swallow and regurgitate everything he says.
Yeah.
So, for example, that march at the weekend, you know, you've got aerial shots of it. Westminster Bridge packed solid. Yeah. I thought it was a big turnout for them. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
But Tommy'd said before it, we're going to have 1 million. Yeah.
They didn't get anywhere near it.
No, but this is what I'm saying, Doward. Yeah. Right. He says we're going to have 1 million. They get 150,000, let's say, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, right?
We can give them a little bit more than that,
right? Yeah. But there's experts now with crowd measuring techniques showing you, look, there's about 150.
Yeah.
Tommy's saying 3 million.
Yeah, there's a reason he says that.
No, but there is. But the point is that then all of the right-wing echo chambers across the whole of social media, they're all talking 3 million as though that's gospel, right? So this is part of the problem, is that...
But why do you think that they give such an outrageously stupid number? Because I've got the stats written down here of how many square meters there was that they occupied.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you put 5 people per square meter, which is considered really busy, okay, at the absolute max, if that whole area was filled up with 5 people per square meter, not from, because they started, let me say, they started at a location called Imac in Stamford Street, and they backed up to Friars Bridge. So that's where they were held, all right? And then they walked over the Westminster Bridge and into Parliament Street, and the actual talking where the stage was in Whitehall. Okay, now that was 700 meters long from one place to the next place. Okay, if you filled up the whole without them walking, let's just imagine from there to there was full up. Okay, 700 meters long with 5 people per meter, which is considered dangerous. 6 is considered like we're getting dangerous now. Okay, they could only have had 214,000.
Right.
But we know they didn't, because they actually marched from one place to the other.
I mean, 3 million is pretty much population of Wales on Westminster Bridge.
Yeah, it's the population of Birmingham.
So anyway, the point being, Dowie, that you know, this kind of I say and then everybody repeats is a disaster for truth. But it's a very useful weapon.
For why do you think they made such an outrageous number? Well, what would you?
Because I honestly think it's as stupid as this. Actually, I think when you say we're going to get 1 million, we're going to get 1 million. You got Musk backing you up. You got everyone. We're going to get 1 million, and you end up with 150,000. What's actually a good turnout for them, even though they're from all over the country and beyond. Them guys and girls there, right? And I agree with you, by the way, that it's no way fair to brand everyone there a racist.
No, of course it's not.
There's a load of people concerned about the things we've been talking about. Yeah. And then they've swallowed some of the propaganda and demonization stuff about, you know. So, but of those people on that bridge, right, I think that the whole reason for saying 3 million was because if you've said 1 million and you get 150, it's looking grim for you. Even if it's a good number, your sort of heightened expectations. So managing that expectation, all right, there wasn't 1 million, there was 3 million. He said that on the day. On the day, he said the police are reporting there's 3 million, and it just spread from there. So I think some of it is like not wanting to see. In a way, it's like with the wars and that in Russia and that, you know what I mean? And you know, you can keep saying we're winning, even if you're not. The narrative's more important than the facts.
The truth,
yeah. And I think this is why Tommy and that do it.
People's perception of reality becomes their reality.
Exactly.
If you believe it, then it becomes a reality.
I mean, if 1 million people believe something, then it doesn't matter whether it's the truth or not. They're going to act according to that belief, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and also how you relate is the reality you create. As well.
Yeah.
So, but there's another reason, I reckon.
Yeah.
And that is that there's something called the group mentality or the herd mentality. If enough people think enough people are into it, people join it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's 3 million people, well, how many of them? That must be at least another 6 million people at home.
Yeah.
That draws people into the group. It's like it's a big movement.
Yeah, it's just inflating the numbers.
It's inflating the numbers to make people attracted to it. Because human beings, they want to join a group. And the bigger the group, the more people that want to join.
And for the same reasons, people where they want to look tough. Yeah, you want to look like this is massive. Yeah. Rather than this is small.
I mean, 3 million. I mean, you couldn't physically fit them people.
But there was no doubt 150,000, and that in itself is worrying.
The police put it 150,000, but some other people have put it at the top end stats was. The top end stat was 800,000, but that's considered to be ridiculously too high. And I think most people have accepted sort of the 200,000 mark is doable. It's doable. Yeah. But 200,000 is still a lot of people.
No, it's a worrying amount.
It's a worrying amount. Now, they wouldn't have been, Glenn, like the more well-off working class, like the ones that have got a nice house, job, business, house, car.
Tommy has.
No, Tommy's got all of that, mate, and then some. I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. Because we're all from the same manner. We all know what people get up to because people talk. But, however, them people wouldn't be going down to London and wrapping a flag around themselves and standing in a march shouting Tommy, Tommy, Tommy. They're more like supporting him from home. Well, I kind of agree with a lot of what he says, and he's kind of right. We do have to get rid of these Muslims. We have to have our culture. We have to have this. We have to have that. Now, bearing in mind, what do you think of some of the stuff that was said on that stage? Because for me, that was really worrying. Elon Musk come on it and said, "Fight or die."
I think. We said earlier on, didn't we? There's a thin line, a non-thin line, sorry, between freedom of speech and incitement to serious violence. I think Musk, what he did there, is incitement to serious violence.
I do.
And if I'm telling you now, mate, if he treads in the country, he should be nicked.
Yeah,
that's what I would think. You know what I mean? Now, I'm a free speech activist myself.
You know the thing about him, I know you are, Glenn, I'm going to let you say that in a minute, but the ironic thing about him saying fight or die, he ain't going to be the one doing either.
No, you know that.
He's the richest geezer in the world. He ain't going to be fighting or dying.
Seriously, man, Musk was born in 71, I think. Right?
He's inciting working class people to fight or die when he won't be anywhere near it.
He'll be nowhere near it. But one thing about Musk we have to remember is he was born in 71, I think. And apartheid in South Africa ended in 1990, 91, something like that. So for 20 years, 19 years of his life, he was raised in a white supremacist apartheid state. Yeah. And his dad's done really well out of it and business and all of that. So for me, it's no mystery what's going on here. You know, he's not just doing this in Britain. He's doing it with Viktor Orban in this country, in Hungary and in other different countries where he's whipping up the right wing and AfD in Germany. You know what I mean? He's mobilizing and marshalling them forces using Twitter and using his big money to do that. So to me, that's pretty clear. Yeah, he's a racist. Right?
No, I don't think he could. But what about some of the other stuff that was said? I mean, because they had Christian speakers on there saying the only religion in this country should be Christianity. All the other religions are false. All the other religions are fake.
Ban the burqas and ban all this.
But it wasn't just Islam they was asking. They were talking about. They were talking about
like Buddhists a lot.
Everybody. What about if you're a patriot, Glenn, and you're an atheist? What do you do then?
Well, exactly. You know what I mean? Ask that bloke, innit? You know what I mean?
And I noticed there was one particular religion that he didn't cite in that particular.
Yeah, well, there you go. I wonder what one that was.
There's one that he left out of the mix because, there's always one in there. Now, Tommy Robinson tweeted, I think it was today, there was some people in the north of England, I forget the town, but they were celebrating the Pakistani Independence Day or Pakistani National Day or something like that, okay? And he tweeted something to the words of, and I can't remember exactly, but something. If Pakistan invaded this country, who would these rats? And he put an emoji of a rat. Who would they fight for? That's dehumanizing. Now
that's disgusting.
That's just dehumanizing people. Now I don't know who they would fight for, but the point is that one of the oldest tricks in the book is to dehumanize your enemy, so it becomes easier to do what you want to do with them. Isn't it?
There's like big history in this country of loads of people from the Commonwealth, as they called it, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from all over, fighting in World War II.
World War II
for this country, you know what I mean?
5 million Muslim soldiers
There you
died
go.
in World War II. I
There
think
you
it was
go.
something like 800,000 died in World War One.
There you go.
It's a lot, isn't it?
There you go. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? So when they say like, who would these rats fight for, which is just disgusting.
When he said that, yeah.
When he says that,
yeah,
you know, that's totally ignoring the long tradition of people who've been living here and not even have been living here. A lot of them got involved in the war fighting. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, it's just, again, it's just like, I would think that the people of Luton largely, of course, Tommy's got a following in Luton. Of course, he has. But I'm judging by my mates, you know what I mean? And my mates who do like Tommy, I mean, I've been surprised by a few, to be honest with you, because One Love is something we all grew up with, and all of a sudden None Love seems to be the order of the day. By None Love, I mean,
how many have you seen turned?
Not happily, not a lot. Okay. Right? There's a handful of my friends who
Your
I
age
love.
group, our age group.
Yeah, my age group, and you know, who are on it since Tommy came out. To be honest,
really, that far away.
They've been on it since Tommy came out. Okay. You know, and the encouraging thing is that group hasn't grown; it's remained the same group of people. So you know, what worries me, or makes me think anyway, is that the people of Luton, as the people of Luton I know, you know, when I walk through, I mean, Bury Park is one of Luton's most vibrant, happy to be places, if you like. Yeah, it's non-corporate, it's all small businesses, people are happy, you know what I mean? It's multicultural,
local traders.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, I love all that. I love all that stuff. Yeah,
because you'd be the sort of guy that goes out and has a little farm and supplies the local community with vegetables, and that you try.
Well, I just believe in. I love local business and things like that. You know, localism. I'm big into that, and you know, there's loads of healthy activity goes on in the Pakistani Kashmiri communities and all of that, where we could learn a lot from that ourselves. You know what I mean, in terms of mutual solidarity and all these kind of things.
So why do your friends and the people that I know as well, the white guys that we both know, why are they? What is it? Just that they're fed up and peed off with the situation, so they need to blame someone, and Tommy gives them someone easy to blame?
I think some of them genuinely believe that. I mean, there's 6% of Muslims in this country, and 7%, and 6% in Europe as a whole.
Yeah,
I mean, that's hardly a takeover, is it? You know what I mean? But I think these guys, they swallow some of this great replacement theory and all of that. That there's this move on. Yeah, right, to eradicate white culture and all of that. I mean, that's just balmy, I think. But some people believe that.
But what they might counter that with, Glenn, is saying they're having more kids than us. So at some point, the maths will check. They're 6% now, but it might be 12% in 5 years. There might be 20% in 15.
That's what they do say. That's what they do say.
Like, eventually, just mathematics will tell you if they're having more kids than you and they're marrying from outside the country and bringing them in, at some point, that 6% is going to grow. Yeah, and when it grows, it's going to be a tipping point. Yeah. And when they get to 50-50, they're going to want it all their own way.
Do you know what? There's a demographic case in this country, right? That's basically the population's too old. Germany were a lot more honest about this. Angela Merkel, she said, right, we need at least 1 million young people because the demographics of pensions and all of that in all Western countries, the birth rates drop radically. Right, because everyone's out shopping and consuming, and
so they want to look after themselves and have a good time.
Well, it's what I'm saying. So the answer to me of birth rate issues is let's get down and look at why are birth rates dropping in so-called rich countries.
So what do you think? I've got a couple of theories.
I think that the whole idea of raising a kid when 2 wages can't pay the rent.
So it's financial,
right? It's financial. Right. It's social. It's economic, basically, but economic in the right
sense.
We
said earlier, like you pointed out earlier, back in our day, you could have you could be a lorry driver. My dad was a lorry driver. Yeah, it's a standard job, and we had a house. We had 1 holiday a year.
Exactly.
I had to get a takeaway once a week.
Same as
it weren't flashy, but it was.
You could survive.
You can survive on it. You know, now you can't survive. 2 have to be working. So
and
the women have to be older.
It was secure. That's the thing. It was. You might not even like your job, but it was secure.
Yeah, you had a job,
right? And you knew that was going to cover all of your household income and all of that, right? So that's a different scenario when you think, well, I might have some kids, you know. Whereas a mixture of the poverty levels in this country and the low wages and all of that and the lack of housing and all those things, right, mixed with, I think that it's often the case, I think if you look through history actually, that rich countries start producing less children.
Right.
It goes because in a way, like Irish families, for example, they come and got big families.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because there was in situations in Ireland and other poorer countries where if you have 6 kids, you might lose 3 of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
plus in Catholicism, I think contraception isn't allowed.
Yeah.
Which probably helps.
Well, you know, there's lots of factors, Dowie, but the point being that if we want to think about birth rates in the future, then instead of saying like, oh, well, let's stop people who are having more kids when we need more kids, what we should be saying is what's happened to us, that our birth rates, that our family security and stability isn't there anymore.
So we're gonna,
and it goes back to the billionaires and the corporations, and that's what I'm saying. You know, to distract us from them. You asked me earlier, who to blame? Yeah, who to blame? Yeah, that's who we should be blaming.
Yeah, I agree.
That's who we should be. I know you do.
100%.
I know you do.
I think there's another reason when you come into the rich countries, like supposedly this country is rich, at least on paper anyway. I don't think it filters down as well, but I think the rich corporate businesses, they make you so busy wanting stuff and working for stuff. Well, I've got to go on holiday. Well, I've got to buy a house. Well, I've got to do this. So there's no room for a kid, and you become a little bit more selfish. Well, I've got to get this. So a kid becomes a burden in those plans sometimes. I can't have a kid till I qualify. I get my degree, or I can't have a kid till I'm 30 because I want to do this, and this. Whereas back in the old days, mate, you had got married, you had kids, you raised a family. Nowadays, people want to do other things. They want to get other things, and it's always a carrot on a stick type thing. You never get it, and then the woman ends up being in her mid-30s before she has one kid. Yeah.
No, I mean, there's all these factors that have led to that insecurity, and that's what I mean. You know, I don't take it seriously. Actually, the numbers game. Yeah. I think you could, you know, being honest with you, you know, it doesn't matter to me what color my neighbor is.
Doesn't me either, no.
What the character matters to me. If they're a bad person, I worry about it. If they're a good person, then joy. We got joy. But what color they are is the last thing. You know, because my experience of living in Luton all my life, is that there's good and bad in everyone.
For sure.
Right. There's a little sliver of bad people in every community in this town. Right. In one, you know, amongst brown people, amongst black people, amongst white people, there's a sliver of people who are just bad. Yeah, they're bad people. But that's not ethnic. That's not that's according to race. It's
a human fact.
You know. So you know, I hope that Luton, because look, Tommy's made a lot of impact from here.
Yeah.
And if you didn't live here, you could believe, like Tommy tries to say, that Berry Park's pretty much like an Al-Qaeda stronghold. White people can't walk through it. I mean, again, this is just absolutely not true.
Not true.
Right. So what I think would be a healthy one would be that some of these economic issues that we together, black, white, brown, yellow, all of us, the people, the working class of this country. And that's what it comes down to for me. This is a class issue.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is,
yeah, and we have to organise as a class.
Yeah.
And they don't want us to organise as a class. So they divide us along rules of gender, along rules of religion, along race, along all these, any division lines they can foist and firm up. They will, because they're terrified of us all coming together. So that's what I mean by one love and one unity amongst the community. You know, that's what we need. And I'm just working on a program in Marsh Farm to start doing popular assemblies where we can assemble every 3 months and come together and not only make decisions about what happens in Marsh Farm, but start talking about these issues, you know, so because people are prey to misinformation and propaganda and smears and all of that. And if you're all on your own on Facebook, in a kind of bubble with 1,000 other people who think like you ain't going to get out of that. So I just believe in a lot better community interaction.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I look at some of the Muslims in the town. They have a far greater charitable come together, do charitable works culture than we do in the town.
Charity is a pillar of our religion.
I know. And this is what I'm saying, you know, these things is what I mean by we can all learn off each other.
That's right.
I mean, a lot of consumered out British people have lost that whole notion, right? Even of family, you know, even of family. The family breakdown in this country is just horrendous. Yeah.
You think, I personally think that the family breakdown, that social engineering started with the white working class family. Because in the 1950s and 60s, families were tight. Neighbors were tight. You could go and borrow things if you didn't have anything to look at. Now brothers don't never mind talk to your cousins. You don't talk to your brothers and sisters half the time.
But that's consumer culture, isn't it? We're all worse and worse and worse and all, because you're doing everything from home now. So we all become atomized, separate from each other, and our only contact for a lot of the time is social media and things like that. And that is algorithmically flooded with, like, I mean, my social media feed on X, it's like Mein Kampf, to be honest with you. The amount of like actual Nazi voices on there on Twitter, and they all seem to get fed to your account. You know, I don't.
Why? What are you saying that?
Well, no, if you show an interest in those issues, the algorithm says, "Oh, this person likes these ones," and starts firing all of the opposing voices to what you are on. I don't know why. Well, I do know why it does that, because, like I say, you know, it's corralling people and shaping people's head into, like, Musk and people like this. You know, I mean, Musk, you know, he calls himself a freedom of speech warrior, and I got 1,000 followers, or supposing I got 10 followers on social media. He's got 4.5 million. That's hardly equal, is it? You know, I mean, it's hardly freedom of speech equally distributed.
No, it's not distributed equally.
That's what I mean. You know, it's like, and what Musk has the power to do is retweet Tommy or somebody, and all of a sudden they've got millions and millions of views. So there's so much power concentrated in one guy's hands. And then ditto for people who have got 4.3 million followers, and Donald Trump and people like this.
I mean, what do we do to take it back?
I think it's too late to take it back. I think
we can't get that back now.
No, I don't think that's coming back. I don't think take it. I think alternatives. I mean, this is why I was talking about one love earlier on, right? You know, what we need to do as a country, I think, is all those of us, and we're the vast majority, in my humble opinion, who are one love people, who aren't like racist.
So when you say one love, you just mean everyone getting on?
No, I mean deeper than that. I mean what I said earlier on. We're one human family, all of us, right? And it's more than getting on. It's recognizing that human being there is my sister or my brother, regardless of color, race, where they come from, whatever. Now, if you believe that, that will shape your worldview. If you believe that my people, my town, my religion is not only the finest, it's the only one worthy of any respect, then you are going to cut yourself off from one family with the rest of the human family, and only have white mates or British mates, or however they want to bracket it, or Muslim mates. I know black people were the same. You know, it's not. This isn't a white thing. It's a class thing almost, that people are divided in our views and that, and made to eat propaganda and things like this, and then peddle it. And I think we're all subject to it.
But then they'll say to you, "Yeah, that sounds all well and good, Glenn." So I'm going to talk the devil's advocate side. I'm going to be up on the side of the fence, right? That's all well and good, but these Muslims don't think like that, Glenn. They've not got a one love thing. They got an Islamic supremacist thing, where they think that their Sharia, their ruling system, their law system, it is not what they think it is, but it should be predominant, or and Islam should be the dominant religion. So, and to be fair, there's an element of truth in that. It's not that Muslims can't live peacefully side by side with their neighbors and everything else, but Islam is a missionary religion. It's a religion that propagates. It's a religion where we give dawah. We call.
So is Christianity.
So is Christianity.
I mean, all religions are, and that's what I was saying to you out there. All religions in a way say our understanding of God is the right one. Yeah. Come with us, and salvation's for you. Yeah. My limited understanding, it is limited. My understanding of the Quran and everything else. But what I do know is, as you said, charitable stuff and all of that. What I do know is that the whole idea of Muslims in another land, a non-Muslim land,
it's a different,
and the Muslims are instructed you can't
break the law.
No, exactly. You live
can't
with
break the law as long as the law doesn't conflict with the religion.
Now, if you live a life as a Muslim or a Rasta man or a Buddhist or whatever, and people look and see fruit, they see, do you know what? That sounds and feels and looks good to me. Then they may join you in your faith, But to kind of force it,
you can't force it. We're not allowed to force it.
No, you're not. No, I agree. And good Christians aren't allowed to force it, but many do. And last but not least, Doward, just let me say this one. I've been like a mixture of tickled and confused, if you like. Not confused, but tickled and alarmed by the way the far right in this country, because let's be clear, most of them people on the march, I wouldn't call racist, but the organisation behind it, and some of them deeply racist in there. You've got far right people in there.
I don't think that's a doubt. Glenn, it's been an absolute pleasure, bro. We've got a few seconds left. You're coming back. We're going to make sure of it, inshallah.
Bless up.
Coming up next, the parenting show.